Hi, I'm Pieter Sінгер, and I want to say a few words to you about the online International Animal Rights Rally that is being organized for April the 2nd. I think this could be an important occasion for talking about the treatment of animals, for objecting to discrimination on the basis of species that leads us to disregard the interests of animals when compared to those of humans, and above all, for raising the connection that is present today between the pandemic that is gripping the world, and that is the reason why this rally has to be an online rally rather than an in-person rally, and the exploitation of animals, which is in this particular case the cause of this pandemic, and in other cases as well of viruses that have killed large numbers of people, has been the cause of pandemics. And that's the way we treat animals and the way we use animals for food. Specifically, the current coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic originated in the so-called wet markets of Wuhan in China. Wet markets being markets where live animals are sold and then slaughtered on the spot for the consumer. And it's believed that particularly it was wild animals, perhaps pangolins that were being slaughtered that carried the virus to humans, and that spread from there with the catastrophic consequences that we're still seeing today. So one immediate step to call for is to say that these wet markets and the markets where animals are slaughtered on the spot and the use of wild animals for human food is something that needs to be stopped. But beyond that, we've had many warnings over decades now that factory farming in general is creating the breeding conditions for viruses to spread, that crowding tens of thousands of animals into a single shed, animals in stressed conditions so their immune systems don't work very well, makes it easy for new viruses to develop. And we've had examples of viruses that have developed, the swine flu pandemic, which is believed to have started in an American factory farm, and perhaps the avian influenza. These can be traced to factory farms. It's been encouraging to see in the last week or two that across the whole political spectrum, people have been saying that it's time to look again at factory farming and the treatment of animals that involves. Cory Booker, the Democratic presidential nominee candidate, who's now given up his candidacy, but one of his policies was to abolish factory farms. And it was interesting to see that policy was supported in the United States in an article in the National Review, one of the leading conservative magazines that leans Republican rather than Democrat. So there is some traction on this, and if animal rights organizations could organize to make the public more aware of the role of factory farming in creating the conditions for pandemics. Another thing I didn't mention is the use of antibiotics in those factory farms that leads to the development of antibiotic-resistant viruses and bacteria. So these are things that we really need to bring to the attention of the public. Join the rally, join the online rally, and make your voices heard, and make the connection between what the world is experiencing now and the fact that we are so hooked on eating animal products that we've created these absolutely abhorrent conditions for animals, crowding them into factory farms. There's no doubt that this is something that is the largest kind of abuse of animals in the world. Yuval Harari, the author of *Sapiens*, has called it perhaps the greatest crime committed in history. It's something that we should be thoroughly ashamed of, and any steps towards getting rid of it are really important for animals and for humans as well. Thank you.